Joe Flacco out there looking good. They have shell today. No, it looked like they just got helmets. It looked like just helmets. Real light there today. There we go. 12. Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur is out there, man. Let's see this here. I don't know, this is, guys, when it's all said and done, let's say 5.
So once again, as I said before, the Cleveland Browns had their practice today, right before game week, which is next week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Shedeur Sanders looked the same, nothing different, but of course we're going to continually highlight Shedeur Sanders all throughout his football career, because that's what we do here on Mad Dog TV. I'm gonna play this video clip and let you guys see the few clips of Shedeur Sanders, a little bit of his reps, and then I'm gonna show you guys the argument.
The Cleveland Browns just made a decision that has the entire NFL talking, and it involves Shedeur Sanders in ways nobody saw coming. While everyone expected him to get sent down to the practice squad, like most rookie quarterbacks, Cleveland did something that's got teams around the league scrambling and analysts like Tony Rizzo going absolutely OFF on live radio. They're keeping Shedeur as their third-string quarterback, refusing to let him touch that practice squad. And the reason why is about to blow your mind. This isn't just about football talent anymore. This is about fear, desperation, and a franchise that might just be admitting they struck gold when nobody was looking.
Man, let's check out here. Here we go. Shedeur. It's only 12 seconds on Shedeur, bro. That's all you got? Throwing darts, man. Yeah, man, but they is not letting Shedeur go to the practice squad. Quarterback Zach Bailey workout today, so Bailey Zappe is definitely there. But let's head on over to 92 to the fan, man. Mary Kay Coper was over there today. I know a lot of people feel a certain type of way about her, but she dropped some major news today. Let's
danger of losing his.
So buckle up, because what happened at Browns practice today isn't just another routine session. It's the beginning of a story that could change everything we thought we knew about this quarterback battle in Cleveland. You know what's crazy? When I first heard about this Browns roster decision, my immediate thought was, here we go again, another team sleeping on talent. But then I dug deeper, and man, this situation is way more complex than anyone's reporting. Let me paint you the picture of what's really happening in Cleveland right now. You've got a franchise that's been searching for a franchise quarterback for literally decades. They've tried everything: draft picks, trades, free agents, even bringing guys out of retirement. Nothing's worked. And now they've got this rookie sitting right there, the son of a legend, with all the tools, all the pedigree, all the intangibles you could want in a quarterback. But here's where it gets interesting. They're not just keeping Shedeur on the roster. They're specifically refusing to let him go to the practice squad. Now, some of y'all might think, well, that's good news, right? But when you really understand what's happening behind closed doors, this decision reveals something much bigger.
Yeah.
What would happen to Shedeur? Where would he be?
He'd just be inactive.
Okay. If that's the plan, then just let the kid go. Or are you trying to still make money off his jersey? Do you see him as a football player, or do you see him as a marketing tool? That's what you need to decide. Because the people that want to see him football are getting really frustrated. If they do elevate Bailey Zappe to emergency quarterback 3 and just what would happen to Shedeur? Where would he be?
He'd just be inactive.
Okay. If that's the plan, then just let the kid go.
See, when Kevin Stefanski and the Browns organization made this call, they weren't just thinking about football. They were thinking about protection. Protection from what, you ask? From other NFL teams swooping in and snatching up the one quarterback, who might actually be the answer to their prayers. Here's the thing about practice squads that most casual fans don't understand. Once you're on that practice squad, you're basically fair game. Any team in the league can sign you without having to negotiate with your current team. They can just take you. Gone. Just like that. And Cleveland knows something that they're not saying out loud. They know that there are at least 5, maybe 6 teams around the league that have been watching Shedeur's tape from college, watching his limited preseason action, and thinking, man, if this kid ever becomes available. Let me break down what we saw in practice today that has everyone talking. Cameron Justice, who's been covering this team religiously, dropped some footage that tells a story the Browns probably didn't want getting out. You see Shedeur out there, working with the limited reps he's getting, and even in those brief moments, you can see why other teams are circling like vultures. The arm talent is undeniable. We're talking about a quarterback who can make every throw in the book. The accuracy, the velocity, the touch on deep balls, it's all there. But more importantly, and this is what scouts are really looking at, it's the way he processes information, the way he reads defenses, the way he adjusts protection calls at the line. You want to know what's really got Cleveland scared? It's not just that Shedeur might be good, it's that he might be great, and they might be too stubborn or too invested in their current plan to realize it until it's too late.
As far as Cleveland Browns analysts, then I'll give you guys my thoughts after.
You mean he hurt his chances that much? Why would they value the third game over the first game?
Riz, because you're supposed to improve with every appearance.
He played with the twos in the first game.
I'm not going to argue with him, all right? He had 5 series, and he went backwards on each of them.
Played with the threes, Tony. 4 of the 5 guys got waived the next day. That doesn't mean anything? That doesn't mean anything to you? Boy, it means something to you. It means something to you if Dylan Gabriel was the guy playing with the threes and they got waived the next day. That would mean something to you. Doesn't fit your narrative. Doesn't fit your narrative.
Narrative? I don't understand your emotional investment in Shedeur.
Tony, I'm rooting for the kid. Don't worry about what my investment is. Worry about what your investment is with your guy. Don't worry about me.
This brings me to the most explosive part of this whole story. The argument that broke out on ESPN Cleveland between Tony Rizzo and Tony Grossi. Now, if you don't know these guys, Rizzo's been covering Cleveland sports for decades. He's seen it all, the good, the bad, and the absolutely terrible. And when he goes off like he did today, you better believe there's substance behind it. Tony Grossi, on the other hand, represents everything that's wrong with how some people evaluate quarterback talent. He's looking at preseason statistics, he's looking at who played with which unit, but he's completely missing the bigger picture. When Rizzo said, "I think that kid can play better than Dylan Gabriel. I said it before the draft, and I'll stick to it," that wasn't just some hot take for radio. That was a man who's been watching football for 40 years calling it like he sees it. And when Grossi tried to challenge him on his emotional investment in Shedeur, Rizzo shut that down real quick. Don't worry about what my investment is. Worry about what your investment is with your guy. That response right there, that's not just about defending Shedeur Sanders. That's about calling out the bias that exists in this evaluation process. Because let's be real, if Shedeur's last name was Johnson instead of Sanders, if he didn't have the fame and the spotlight, would these conversations even be happening? Here's what's really eating at people like Grossi, and frankly, some folks in the Browns organization. They can't separate the player from the noise. They see the social media following, they see the Prime connection, they see Coach Prime's influence, and instead of focusing on the football, they're letting all that other stuff cloud their judgment. But you know what? That's their loss. Because while they're worried about narratives and politics and who's getting too much attention, other teams are studying tape. Other teams are looking at fundamentals. Other teams are asking the right questions. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you saw a rookie quarterback handle pressure in the pocket the way Shedeur does? When was the last time you saw a young quarterback pre-snap recognition that advanced? When was the last time you saw someone with that kind of leadership presence step into an NFL locker room? The Browns are sitting on something special, and the fact that they're keeping him away from the practice squad tells me they know it. But knowing it and acting on it are two very different things. Here's where this story gets really interesting. Mary Kay Cabot, who covers the Browns religiously, dropped some inside information that should have everyone paying attention. She said Kevin Stefanski's job is safe for now, that this season is all about figuring out what they have in Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. But think about what she's really saying there. She's saying that this entire season, all 16 games, is essentially an evaluation period. They're not trying to win now, they're trying to build for the future. And if that's the case, if this really is about evaluation, then why isn't Shedeur getting more opportunities to show what he can do? The answer to that question might make some people uncomfortable, but it needs to be said. There are people in that organization who have already made up their minds about what they want the evaluation to show. They've invested draft capital in Dillon Gabriel. They've built a narrative around him being their guy. And sometimes, when people invest that much in a particular outcome, they start seeing what they want to see instead of what's actually there. But here's the thing about talent. It has a way of revealing itself whether you want it to or not. And every practice, every rep, every moment that Shedeur is out there competing, he's building a case that's going to be impossible to ignore much longer. The really frustrating part about this whole situation is the missed opportunity. Cleveland has been searching for a franchise quarterback for 25 years. They've drafted guys in the first round. They've traded for established veterans. They've tried everything. And now they might have the answer sitting right there on their bench, but they're so caught up in their predetermined plans that they can't see it. You want to know what's really telling? The jersey sales. Yeah, that's right. Even with limited playing time, even as a third-string quarterback, Shedeur Sanders merchandise is flying off the shelves in Cleveland. The fans know something special when they see it. The question is whether the organization is paying attention to what their own fan base is telling them. And let's talk about that fan base for a minute. Cleveland Browns fans have been through everything. They've supported this team through decades of disappointment. They've watched quarterback after quarterback come and go. They've invested their hearts, their time, and their money into a franchise that has repeatedly let them down. But when they see Shedeur Sanders out there, even in limited action, they see something different. They see the poise, the arm talent, the football IQ. They see a quarterback who doesn't look overwhelmed by the moment. They see someone who might actually be the answer to their prayers. The really crazy part about this whole situation is how it's playing out in the media. You've got analysts like Tony Rizzo who are willing to go to bat for Shedeur, who are willing to call out the nonsense when they see it. But then you've got others who seem determined to tear him down, who seem more interested in proving they were right about their pre-draft evaluations than actually evaluating what they're seeing now. And that brings up something that needs to be addressed: the double standard that exists in how we evaluate certain players. When Shedeur makes a great throw, it gets downplayed because he was playing with the threes. When he shows leadership, it gets dismissed as just flash. But when other quarterbacks do the exact same things, it gets praised as development and growth. The truth is, football is football. Good quarterbacking is good quarterbacking, regardless of who you're playing with or what your last name happens to be. And if you can't recognize that, if you're letting other factors influence your evaluation of pure football ability, then maybe you shouldn't be in a position to make those evaluations. That here's what I think is really happening in Cleveland and why this roster decision is so significant. I think there are people in that building who know exactly what they have in Shedeur Sanders. I think they see the talent, they see the potential, and they're terrified that another team is going to figure it out before they're ready to act on it. But they're also caught in a tough spot. They've made commitments. They've set expectations. They've built their plans around other players. And now they're trying to figure out how to pivot without looking like they made a mistake. The problem is, in the NFL, hesitation kills. While you're trying to protect your pride or your previous decisions, other teams are making moves. Other teams are taking chances. Other teams are finding ways to win. And that's exactly what makes this roster decision so fascinating. By refusing to put Shedeur on the practice squad, the Browns are essentially admitting that they're not ready to let him go, but they're also not ready to fully commit to him. It's football purgatory. But here's the thing about talent like Shedeur's: it doesn't stay hidden forever. Eventually, whether it's through injury, poor performance from others, or just the natural progression of the season, he's going to get his chance. And when that moment comes, when he finally gets the opportunity to show what he can do with meaningful snaps, all of these conversations, all of these debates, all of these political games are going to seem pretty silly. The real question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders can play at the NFL level. Anyone who's watched him knows he can. The real question is whether the Cleveland Browns are going to be smart enough to recognize what they have before someone else does. Because make no mistake, there are teams watching. There are general managers and coaches around the league who would love to have a quarterback with Shedeur's skill set and potential. And if Cleveland doesn't figure out how to utilize him properly, if they don't give him the opportunities he deserves, eventually he's going to end up somewhere else. And when that happens, when Shedeur Sanders is leading another team to playoff success? All of these people who are questioning his ability right now are going to have to explain how they got it so wrong. So here's my question for you. How long do you think it's going to take before the Browns realize what they really have in Shedeur Sanders? Are they protecting a future franchise quarterback, or are they just delaying the inevitable conversation about missed opportunities? And what do you think happens when other teams start making serious moves to try to get him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this story is far from over. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next in this Cleveland quarterback saga. The Browns might think they're controlling this narrative, but talent has a way of writing its own story.